I am Linda van Tilburg. South Africa has returned to the prestigious Chelsea Flower Show in London this year with an exhibit on Cape Flora. An exhibition of South African's flora has been part of the show since 1976 and has earned 37 gold awards. And we have Keith Kirsten, the well-known horticulturist, joining us from London to tell us about this year's exhibition. And you have been incredibly successful. Welcome to BizNews, Keith Kirsten.
Thank you, Linda. And it's as I said, I was a bit exhausted this week from the preparations. We brought after 4 years of South Africa not being in Chelsea, and in London we 2 years due to COVID, and then 2 years due to the fact that the South African Botanical Institute, SANBI, decided not to return to Chelsea, and then by that time I think South African people were sort of talking and saying, but why are we not back at Chelsea and representing South Africa? And why shouldn't we get back here? So I think a couple of us from the Botanical Society in Cape Town, as well as interested parties out of the nursery industry, out of the landscape industry, and just general citizens, gardeners and people who love our flora and country, decided that we really should get South Africa back to Chelsea. So we started out by just basically talking to various people. One of the people that came forward was Grootbos Nature Reserve in Gansbaai, Michael Lutzeyer, who's the founder of that amazing over 2,000 hectares of beautiful preserved fynbos up the west coast. And then we also spoke to and fortuitously talked to the Cape Flower Growers Association, of which there's a very active nursery member. Um, uh, um, Jackie Goliath from the South African Flower Growers Association sits on their board, and she thought, it would be a great idea to get the South African flower growers, who represent a lot of people around the country and the Cape that grow wildflowers, many of them first timers as well. And so one thing led to another, and then we had a launch even before we had all the funding. We had a launch being very positive early January, February, I think about March, I think. And only then eventually did we, get a go ahead from another donor, who the Rupert Nature Foundation, who came to the party and really helped us with the majority of the funding we needed to go back to Chelsea. Then we all got really busy. Leon Kluge, who had previously represented South Africa, designing the South African exhibit, he came to the fore, and so we called on him, obviously, to design and to assist building, and then a whole lot of volunteers, many of them people who paid their own way, and some of them came out of the budget, and it was limited. So, yes, I think purely the mere fact that we had a desire and a passion to come back got us back, and that's the success of the show. Although we had no idea we were going to do as well as we did, because you just never know at the Royal Horticultural Society. I mean, there's a lot of competition from a lot of people, various designers, other countries. I mean, it's the mecca for gardeners and horticulturists and people all around the world that come to Chelsea. Basically, the finest flower show, on earth.
Yeah, tell us about your success. So, a gold medal, not only a gold medal?
First of all, there's a week of preparation, and as Leon Kluge has succinctly informed um, in his various videos and social media, 22,000 flowers, stems of proteas and fynbos were sent over. Each one of them have to be prepared for the exhibition and for the installation of the actual design. Leon and his small team worked very passionately on the design, and all the assistant and the helpers trimmed the stems, took off, spoiled leaves, and prepared the material for the exhibition, and so it's been a team effort. We've got Marinda Nell, who's the next chairperson of the Botanical Society of South Africa National, as well as Kirsten Bosch. I'm an ex-council member as well, and Kirsten Bosch member, and we pulled a group together of really passionate people who were interested in getting us there. We called on civil society. We had funding coming from all types of people that were interested in getting us back. And then, you work for a week setting up the whole exhibit. It takes a long time. It's madhouse there because there's everyone and machinery and whatever. You've got to wear a security vest, and you've got to wear hard cap shoes. And anyway, that's the week. And then, there's countdown to when you've actually got to have everything prepared and ready, which is normally by Sunday night, you have to be absolutely finished with everything. Monday, the media come in and and celebrities and scrutinize, and the judges are always busy, and you've got to keep out of their way. They don't allow anyone near them when they're judging, whether and their various exhibitions. And then we got in this morning and discovered that we got a gold medal, which was really quite overwhelming. Then, one doesn't really understand how much work goes into putting these things together, the logistics and getting the flowers and getting the brochures, 25,000 of them printed and delivered and then cleared of customs because they're not going to be for sale. They're actually going to be to hand out to people. So we had assistance. And the Royal Horticultural Society have been amazing in assisting us. They really wanted South Africa back. I mean, the people come to the Chelsea Flower Show to see the South African flora. We've become synonymous with the Chelsea Flower Show over all the years. So the people really came around in throngs. And Carol Klein, who's a great presenter of Chelsea, and she's a horticulturist and a gardener. She just loves the South African stand and the South African people and the South African flowers. And so she gave us a punt on BBC, I think, just the fact that we were back. And that got people talking. And so that brought many people into the show. And then on top of that, when we got gold this morning, the news went out and it was a kind of a buzz around the show that we'd got gold. And so, today was first day of Members Day. So there's Tuesday and Wednesday is Members Day, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday is Public Day. And on Saturday, they sell off the flowers as well. Everyone can and do. And then we were at about half past 10, 11 o'clock. Somebody said something's going to happen at our stand, and no one really knew. And there was a bit of a buzz going around. And the next minute, and I'm so grateful, there were so many loyal South Africans that were at our exhibit coming to visit Leon Kluge and the team and wish us well and whatever. And the next minute, the president arrived with a whole camera crew and support and the judges and things and brought us the Best on Show award with two beautiful cut glasses with proteas on them, and two great big certificates, and these. We got best on show, and we actually got best design on show as well for Leon Kluge's design. So we were overwhelmed. And, to get best on show at Chelsea Flower Show is like winning the Grand Prix, I mean, it's really something. So, we knew we worked hard and we knew we had fantastic flowers and they were perfection personified, all the fynbos. And we presented Grootbos South Africa and endorsed by the Botanical Society as well. And I think nature and basically biodiversity and conservation in the way it should be done. And our brochure said it all as well. And I think that the people were just crazy about us, and they've been thronging in today, and the news will go out tonight at 8:15, 9:15 South Africa time. But I mean, they will, and the rest of the whole of the United Kingdom will know about it. Already, South Africa seems to know a little bit about it because we've had Instagram blogs and all those kind of things going out. So, and we've got an amazing loyal South African gardening community who are madly behind it all. So actually, 10 out of 10 for the team.
And I think I've been there when there was that this kind of hype around the South African one, but that was sort of year after year. But you being back, so how was it received by the general people who just walk past? What do they think?
Well, first of all, it's the most colourful exhibition in the entire Grand Marquee. There obviously are beautiful roses, but they are smaller flowers and masses of them. And they're wonderful clematis from Raymond Everson in Guernsey clematis. And there are other gladiolis and things, but there are smaller stands. This is a great big, almost 100 square meters of flora from South Africa, and they are so colourful and so brilliantly, from the pure white king protea, to all the different pinks, to all the bronzes, and to many others, and all the purple heathers and things. So, I think ours stood out, and it also was an elevated stand. It had an emulated rock walls with holes in them, emulating the sort of rock outcrops you get between the fynbos and the proteas up on the koppies around Gansbaai and around Cape Town, Table Mountain, and other mountains around, near Lawrenceford and places like that. So, it was fabulous. And another great thing about this exhibition at the moment is that we are not the only South Africans represented there. Babylon's Turin is represented there from Cape Town, and so is the Newt, and this is another Babylon's Turin kind of project, and it's amazing. And so, South Africa's, and a lot of South African wine around. So, it's and we had Delay wine on our stand, which we gave to and handed out to visitors on Monday, on press day. So we had the lovely Delay Graf wines from up on Helshoogte outside Stellenbosch. So, it was just a great South African gathering, actually, at a big flower show. And it's just been terrific. And I think the media is going to continue all week, because the BBC basically broadcast they've actually got studios there, and they broadcast from Chelsea, and they'll be broadcasting all week. And, the Royal Horticultural Society's Chelsea Flower Show is considered the opening of the social season and of the whole of summer. So following on, it will be Ascot, and there'll be Henley regattas, and there'll be lots of wonderful things. So anyway, it was great to have some of the donors there today, which was also wonderful.
So, is the future of Chelsea now secure, do you think?
Well, we tongue in cheek kind of committed to the RHS because they were really keen for us to come, and if they and that we'd do it for 3 years without knowing whether we're going to have the funding. But I'm praying that certainly Grootbos is still in, and I know we have to apply again for future funding from some of the other trusts. But I think having one golden best on show, which is going to be a hell of an act to follow, but I do believe that we'll be able to come back, and then maybe a different design and representing more biomes of South Africa, not only the Cape, but we'll always bring Cape Flora as well. And I think that's for the committee to decide when they meet in the new year, on the design and what kind of course we'll take and where funding's coming from and who the team will be as well.
And I think one thing where South Africa is way ahead is there's a big emphasis I see at Chelsea this year to plant indigenous flowers. In other words, stuff that doesn't take so much water that come from elsewhere. And there, the Cape is way ahead because that's all indigenous flowers.
Yeah, well, our brochure told that story as well about biodiversity, conservation, water saving, and I think it is a theme worldwide at the moment. The whole world are very conscious about global warming, climate change, and all those things. So I think and the whole point is that you do need to have an educational spiel and angle to your exhibits at Chelsea these days. I mean, they look for that. Um, and so I think that, and the other big thing you must understand, is that South Africa, with our flora, represents tourism in South Africa. People come to see the game reserves, and they come to see wildlife and our birding, and they come to see the wildflowers. They come to see Kirstenbosch Botanic Gardens, and they come to the Cape because it's got wonderful vineyards. And so Chelsea is a shop window to advertise South Africa from a tourism point of view. And then, as far as the biodiversity and conservation is, we are leaders in that. We're doing everything we can in South Africa, throughout the country, in many, many ways to preserve our biodiversity, whether it be the marine biodiversity, or whether it be the fauna, and whether it be the flora. We're doing it all. And, it was a great, great thing to do that again. And I think that's what makes everyone feel so good, is that we're doing something for the environment, opposed to maybe something that's not as kind of, you can get wonderful rapport from gardening and from working with the soil and planting and working with nature. And I think that's what Chelsea's all about. I mean, there's just amazing amount, and there's wonderful things happening at Chelsea all the time. And the Babylon's touring people are here because they basically are representing South Africa, or representing the Newt and Babylon's touring for a period over several years. And they're helping the Royal Horticultural Society do what they do best, and that's wonderful as well.
Well, Keith, Kirsten, for you and the team, congratulations and thanks so much for speaking to us.